Pontius, a play in the Greek tradition by Bruce Shayne Nelson. Pontius, Act 1. All actors are masked, as in Greek theater. They stand like chessmen, move little. Pontius is a voice play, action to be at absolute minimum. As the curtain rises, we see the lower courtyard containing the crowd, or the chorus. We see Roman soldiers guarding Christ, etc. At the top of a wide flight of steps are Pilate, Hamza the Pharisee, and a few clerks at tables writing. All on a smaller stage or landing well above the crowd. Pilate is off alone, musing to himself. And so another tedious day arrives, and I must listen to priests cant, merchants lie, and thieves harangue. Oh, that my Roman sinecure had another task preferred than to weigh men's souls in justice, and preordain their doom. Who now this wretch they bring me? Poor devil, speaking not the emperor's tongue. And I look at him, not a stitch of decent drapery to his name. Sinister chap, they advised me, these his heathen people, but harmless looking enough to the untrained eye. Can this be then the one they mean? This man passes for the son of a god, or so poses? Well then, what of it? Hardly an ancient Greek warrior, not prone to make the same claim. And does such a question, even if proved, require death as the price of asking? But so these Pharisees advise me, strangely intent on convincing me of the seriousness of his crime. Serious buzzards indeed, old Hamza and his cronies. The cross our weapon, the tongue theirs. Liars have I seen among all persuasions, but few so eager to speak a man onto the tree. O Hamza, though I do see how this man's words might sting a vanity or two, and that he is not one to make a conscience comfortable, find ye not the cross too weighty a blow for a touch of wit? Wit? Were it only that, my gracious Lord Pilate? Then would he be among our most besought guests, to brighten the wits of our still slow younger members. We would with joy listen to his taunts, serve they only to teach us humility. But this man adds to wit and facility that fatal venom, truth, as fearsome a weapon as Greek fire, my lord. Greek fire, allow me to like my own comparison, for truth like his ignites, scorches, and explodes among the innocent. They need more protection from him that do the mighty. Our people, my lord, are vain, though twice enslaved. They, through their wisdom and sense of justice, have thrown over yokes of men less just, but more numerous than they. Yet in this nomadic people lives a fiery memory of freedom from the hand of any king, from any tyrant, of a world where a man removes his hat to none but God, and seldom at that to him. The herdsman seeks no war, alone survives, and in his sense of judgment values men more than cattle. A rare thought that on these barbarian shores. Pardon, my lord. Think ye then that we Romans value not a man's life above that of a cow? O gracious Pilate, discern ye not that the slaves in your galleys are treated lower than we would our beasts? Go not men to public torture in your land? And have you not brought that great Roman institution, the cross, to throw its grim shadow on our native soil? Here where no man ever was treated with cruelty by his own people. But, Hamzat, call ye not cruel this strange Eastern custom of stoning a man or maid to an agony or death? Ah, that, my lord, is our law. The sufferers of such penalties have themselves killed themselves, knowing that their unlawful act must be so repaid. They are but volunteers who suffer. And precisely so our cross, that only those who do oppose the destiny of Rome do so die. They do volunteer to meet the tree, dear Hamzat, by raising arms against Roman citizens. Citizen armies, mean ye, who plunder all they can touch. My people, though slow to resort to arms, will anger eventually and raise their hand to expel you from this land. A swift way to death. The hand of Caesar, well, can you read a map, man? I know my land and need not written reminders of falsifications. Well, if thou knewest the map of Caesar's world, you would then know that your tiny land is but a minute speck of soil on our leader's diagram. Should you oppose him, your lands in this city would perish with your entire race by but the motion of his hand to any of a dozen generals thirsting for sport. And you would see your people perish in a day, gone from history's book in agony. I know but too well that this is so. And for this motive, O Lord, do I beseech you to destroy this one man, that the entire nation need not end on a cross, for lest he be silenced, he shall inflame these simple believers, our people, and with dreams of equality bring them to active revolt and thereby death. We, the elders, must think of the future of our people, and so must persuade them against so perilous and stupid an act as opposing Rome. Yet if this man be allowed to spread his dangerous dreams, like immortality, what sayest thou? Is he now speaking thus? Blasphemy! And Hamzat rips his garment. Blasphemy? What means this word? Is it of our native tongue? He speaks as a devil, it means in our tongue. But certainly your people don't believe such nonsense. Men immortal, indeed, shall they have what is only the privilege of the gods? Julius claimed such powers till senatorial daggers questioned his boasting. He bled most unlike a god. If he, the most exalted of mortals, does die, then shall we lesser beings live forever? Is such a childish fancy dangerous? Yea, for our people be most naive, my lord, remote from worldly history, untainted by city sophistication. They are truly great believers in the most fanciful paradises, and from this man accept tales which would insult an intelligent mind. Well, what manner of man is he to build such childish tales? A most alarming man, my lord, sprinkling profound truths like lures in the mire of the fictions he propounds to dazzle the minds of the simple. Why speaks he so? He has lived alone, my lord, and thus has lost his civility. Unblessed by wife or child, he has dwelt in compounded loneliness. Has he no friends? None at all, my lord. We were told he had followers, but none spoke on his behalf when witnesses were heard. He is quite alone. Yet he makes sounds which move the mob. And thus does Caesar require his death. How? Caesar knows not this man. 'Tis thee and thine would have his life drained from him. We are men of peace, my lord, and he sows war where'er he walks. Well, he hardly looks a Mark Antony. Bring him forward, and we shall hear his Martian tones. But what age has your villain? He speaks not thereof, my lord. And as he is said to have been born in Egypt, there is no way the temple could tell us. But he seems a man just beyond Alexander's age when he died, and a bit short of thine. Ah, there lies light in what thou sayest, Tom, that he is then at that bloody awkward age of those beyond the reasoning of their glands, but short of the stiffening of the limbs and the soul. Before most men reach such an age, they have taken living flesh to them permanently. Wife and child become hostages to the powers that be, and true disregard of danger is no longer possible. Unruly thoughts are smoothed over, for rebelliousness has become unwise. One becomes vulnerable, having two or more bodies to be concerned over. Bodies containing spirit, my lord, souls. Souls wearing bodies, some might say. Very well, my lord. Such a man has seen too much, understood too much. What of his childhood? Egypt, say ye? Then is he not Egyptian? Can there be an Egyptian Jew? A Jew he is, sire, of the house of David. And which David was this? A man much mentioned in our holy books. A god, mean ye? Oh, no, my lord, merely a man blessed with the gifts of poetry and bravery. Often a dangerous combination. What accomplished this poet ancestor? He was a humble shepherd of divine voice, who through his wisdom became king. King of the Jews? Indeed, my lord, but that was long ago. And tell me, Hamzat, had you lived long ago, would you have requested the cross for the poet to keep him from becoming king? Oh, no, lord. This David was a man of the law. And he did not name himself king, but earned the title and was chosen. The word law resounds often this sunny morn. Have you not your own devices to punish those who break the rules of your land? He is most shifty, my lord. He desires death on the cross, not at our hand. Well, that shall we hear. But first, shall we not, weary of our own wisdom, consult the vision of a fool? They of addled wit may see where the eye of the thinker fails. O Otto! Pontius beckons across the chamber. Be that man your fool, my lord. Only kings and emperors have private fools to tease their thoughts, Hamzat. Otto is but a slave, the nearest thing a governor may possess to a fool. But his eyes see differently. The wild forests of Germany have produced in him a man most simple. Otto, art thou not a fool? Ha, 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 by the grace of our northern gods, yes, for all is clear to me. Ha, 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 ha. This prisoner, Otto, have you stood close to him? What think ye? Be he of kingly stock, or of weak mind like thee? Tell your slave, Pontius, can a king be mad? Find you him mad? Your answer asks. Answer then, if thou wouldst not feel the weight of my anger. Otto speaks but truth, my lord, so fears not your hand, for ye cannot raise a hand against the truth. Ha, ha. Speak, what is this man? What man speak ye of? That man. And Pontius points at Jesus, who is in the crowd below. Christ slowly raises his head and looks at Pilate at this moment. Pilate stares at him all during Otto's next speech. Him, seest thou a man there? That be no man, Lord, that be a window. His eyes have no bottom, his soul no screen, the light shines out. Light? I see no light. You are blessed to be no fool, dear uncle. Perhaps 'tis better thus. Will you stretch him in the air, then, and put out the light? Perhaps, if it is required. But he shall walk again. What riddle is this? Ask the Jew its meaning, Lord, for I am simple. He means, my lord, that this man calls himself the Messiah. The what? He has much read, perhaps, and is sorely infatuated with the tales of Jeremiah. A window with a tail! Ha ha! Well, who be this ancestor Jeremiah, another poet king? A seer, my lord, a prophet who told that one named the Messiah would come one day and be the new king of the Jews. And this legend is in our prisoner's mind. He makes a mockery of it, my lord. In original, it is a beautiful vision of a righteous man who will come to deliver Israel from her enemies. From Rome, then, from her oppressors, my lord. Speaks your man against Rome, then? Unceasingly, my lord. Ha ha! Almost half as much as against the Pharisees, say those who have heard him. Fools become tedious. Of course, particularly because of their peculiar habit of running off at the mouth with truth. I have not the wit to dream up a rapid lie, master, no more than that window there. I shall go to his side of the room, for there is the truth not tedious. And Otto runs back down to the chorus and the crowd and Jesus. Keep you him always by, my lord. He teaches well one Nordic lesson. What lesson is that, my lord? But Pontius ignores Hamzet's question, and he says in Latin, Bring the prisoner forth. The crowd, which has been standing in random position, now slowly, man by man, silently turn and watch Christ climb the steps. Pontius waves the two soldiers away, stands facing 90 degrees away from Christ, who has his back to the crowd. Are you, my good man, the king of these Jews? Isn't that what you've been saying? You said it. Pontius now turns and faces Christ. 20 seconds elapse before he says, I find no fault in this man. But, my lord, he speaks revolution across the land, from Galilee to the sea. Oh, Galilee, what has this man done in Galilee? A long list of crimes, my lord, desecrating the Sabbath. He desecrated a Sabbath, say you, and what by God is that? Our holy tradition, my lord. Another blasphemy in Galilee. Yea, Lord. Then how pleased shall Herod be to know we have captured him, eh, Hamzat? King Herod. Yes, he shall have this dangerous man. He is really the problem of Judea. Guards, then, take this man to Herod, a gift from Rome. Let Herod have his hot blood. Curtain. End of Act 1. Pontius. No intermission occurs between Act 1 and Act 2.